How do you do, y'all? This is John, and today we're talking about The Lost World Jurassic Park, a movie that came out in 1997, starring Jeff Goldblum. And in The Lost World, Ian Malcolm has to travel to another island with dinosaurs to save his girlfriend, who's on there. And while doing so, ends up encountering this group of hunters who have nefarious plans for these dinosaurs. Okay, so to get things started, Jurassic Park is one of the most perfect movies ever made, and The Lost World Jurassic Park is one of the most underappreciated sequels I have seen. I recently got the 4K of this movie last week. I pre-ordered it, and let me tell you, it was worth it. The problem a lot of people have with this movie is it's very different from the first movie, but honestly, the best sequels do not go the same route as the previous films. Look at Aliens, look at Terminator 2. Neither of those movies, tonally or stylistically, are a lot like their first movies. Terminator 2 is a straightforward sci-fi action movie. Terminator 1, it's a sci-fi horror film. Jurassic Park is a sci-fi thriller movie. The Lost World, to me, is more of a sci-fi horror film. It's darker than the first movie, and the premise, despite the whole dinosaurs on an island thing, is pretty much almost entirely different from the premise of the first Jurassic Park. And like I said, to me, that is the greatest strength of The Lost World. It goes in a route you do not expect, but ultimately it still has the same spirit as the first movie and respects what came before it. I cannot say that about a lot of sequels these days, especially Terminator Dark Fate. Ian Malcolm, you can definitely tell the effects of the first movie affected him. While he doesn't have PTSD the way that Ellen Ripley had PTSD in Aliens, you can definitely tell he's different. His views have changed quite a bit. He is no longer this snarky kind of selfish chaotician. If anything, everything he does in this movie is an act of selflessness. He's still very eccentric and a bit egotistical, but he's a different person here, and I actually like that a little bit. And as far as the special effects go, there's one shot in the entire movie that, unlike the rest of the film, hasn't aged that well, but I'm not going to judge the effects as a whole over this one shot. The effects in this movie have aged for the most part as well as in the first movie. However, there's one shot that kind of looks like Tron. And really, the magic, the wonder of the first movie, despite its darker tone, did seep into this movie. Magic and wonder of the first Jurassic Park is still here. You still feel it, and you still feel the thrills and stuff you got from the first movie. Because Steven Spielberg did a great job here in terms of his direction. I know he's not a big fan of doing sequels, but ultimately he did a great job with this sequel. On the other hand, unlike the first movie, I do have some problems with this one. Well, a problem. I forget the name of the main antagonist in the movie. However, he's basically the nephew of John Hammond, I think. Whereas in the book, it was Lewis Dodgson. The guy Dennis Nedry in the first movie had a conversation with in a scene. It was the reason why Jurassic Park was basically destroyed. And him and his company in the book, they're the hunters. In this one, it's InGen with this new guy as CEO. I think it would have been better for the movie to stick a bit more closely to the book and had Lewis Dodgson as the villain. To wrap that arc up with this one, with this movie. But ultimately, I love this film. It's not as good as the first movie, but I just love it. There's one real problem with it, that's it. Everything else, it's just as top-notch as it is in the first film. I'm gonna give The Lost World of Jurassic Park a 9. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please also subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, please remember, the Badetsky will